Okay, hello and welcome to our Fall 2013 BI and Reporting webcast series. I'm Jason Gumpert and we are here today for the final session in the series, our BI and Reporting Vendor Shootout. It's been a busy season for us with BI and Reporting webcasts. As you can see here, we've had quite a few and they're all available now on demand on a range of topics related to business intelligence and reporting for Microsoft Dynamics. If you missed any of these sessions, I suggest you go back to msdynamicsworld.com's webcast section. You'll find a link in the upper right and seek them out. They are all available now. And we, of course, couldn't run the series without our sponsors, and I want to thank them for being a part of it. Today, they will be presenting on their vision for reporting in BI in the dynamic space. We have presenters on the line from De facto, Zap, Halo BI, and Target. And each presenter will have 12 minutes to present some of their vision and their products, and we will begin in just a moment. We do invite you to ask questions using the Q&A block that you'll see on the right side of the screen, and we will take as many questions as we can at the end of the session. So, without further delay, please allow me to welcome our first presenter today, Megan Lapointe from De facto. Megan, are you there?
Yes, I am. Hi, everyone.
And you now have control, so you should be able to get started.
So we're presenting on De facto performance management. This is a corporate performance management solution. It does all of our financial reporting, plus it does budgeting, forecasting, consolidation, and analysis. It's one tool, one code base that we are integrating to do a lot of different things. So as far as built-in functionality, we have a lot of things that are already built into De facto, which means that we have a shorter implementation time. We do have connectors for Dynamics, EPR, and CRM. We have financial models and data warehouses already set up, and we're very competitively priced. We have been proven with thousands of users from Fortune 500 to mid-market companies in approximately 15 countries. As far as the value goes, we offer a superior value versus our competitors because we do have a lot of capabilities already built into De facto, the same level of capabilities that you would see with SAP and Oracle, plus we're priced competitively based on the capabilities that are already included. So without further ado, I'm just going to go into De facto to show you around. De facto is completely Microsoft-centric. So what we're looking at here is Excel. But we have our De facto ribbon, which is our add-in. So there's really no installation even with De facto with the Excel add-in. It's just a file that we can copy over. This is showing us all the functionality that we have in De facto. Including refreshing data, opening from a shared location, submitting data. We can process workflows. We have a data manager that really helps us with loading data, running company-wide business rules or calculations. And then we have our reporting tools over here. You're looking on the left at our current view. This shows us all of the dimensions that make up our business structure. And this is completely customizable. So regardless of the naming convention that you may use or however you need to break out your data, we can do that very easily by separating them into different dimensions of your choice. You'll notice that some of these dimensions are grayed out, and this is a visual indicator that's saying, okay, for this particular report that we're looking at, this actual versus budget report, it is dynamic for any grouping of accounts, any currency or entity, any time period, and any time data view, meaning periodic, year-to-date, quarter-to-date. Everything else has been locked for this particular report. So if I wanted to see a different view of this data, I could simply go in and change my, in this case, account. Maybe I want to see everything that rolls into gross margin. And I just wanted to point out this is a very powerful feature in de facto. We have the ability to create reports based on expansions. So anything rolling into the account I select will display based on the level of detail you want to see. And what that means is that if an account comes over from GP or anywhere else, we can automatically add it to de facto, and it will automatically be added to this report the next time you open it if it's rolling into that account that you selected. So I've made a change here. You'll notice the refresh button is red. That's a visual indicator also that I know I need to refresh my report. And now I'm looking at an expansion of my account for gross margin. Down here, we're looking at two different structures for our entity or organization dimension. One's by function, one is by region. I'm just going to show you that over here. You can have as many roll-ups or hierarchies for any dimension that you need. So this is just a simple example showing two. One is regional and one is functional. But for any dimension that you have, you can have different ways to roll up your data. And as you can see down here, you can also report on them side by side. So while de facto is a very powerful tool, we also embrace all that Excel has to offer. So you can have Excel charts and graphs. We have conditional formatting. We don't have to worry about reformatting things. When we build a report, we put in some conditions. Even though I change the data, the formatting is staying with the type of data that I want to format. You'll also notice that this actual versus budget is a number. So that's a calculation that's coming over from de facto on the fly. Whereas we can have Excel formulas as well. So you can see my actual versus budget percent is an Excel formula up here. If I wanted to get into some more detail, maybe I want to take a closer look at external sales, I can simply double click, and that's showing me, you can see up here, consolidated worldwide regions for external sales. And I can continue investigating my data. Maybe I want to look at details for US East, which includes New York and Boston. And maybe I want to take a look at the products for those. So this particular report is very, very dynamic in that I can double click to drill in place. I can change the dimensionality of this report so that I can see details however I need to. So our goal is we can create a report that shows us so many different views of the data that at the end of the day, we're reducing the number of reports that we even need to create in the first place. And speaking of creating reports, that brings me to our wizard. The wizard is a great tool to help us get up and running with reports. If I wanted to create a new report, I can just go to the wizard. Maybe I want to see my entities in my rows, so I'm really just clicking and dragging to get my data in. So I've got entities and accounts here. Maybe for my columns, I want to see time. So all I have to do is select this and click OK. My report is built for me. So I'm looking at, for everything that rolls into consolidated worldwide regions, revenue, cost of goods sold, and gross margin. So I already have that set up for US, Europe, Asia, and other regions. Well, I could also change this. You'll notice that nothing is grayed out on the current view. This is a very dynamic report. So maybe I want to take a look at my budget scenario, maybe for next year budget, and maybe I'll take a look at that for my US East region, and maybe I'll take a look at departmental expenses instead of my gross margin. So when I refresh, I see a completely different view over here. Now I'm looking at the two regions that roll up to US East, New York and Boston, and I'm looking at, for New York, travel and entertainment expense and total department expense, Boston, these three. So the reporting functionality in de facto is very dynamic. It's built so that you have fewer reports that you would have to create, fewer reports that you have to maintain, especially with things getting added to like your chart of accounts, a new account. If you use these expansions, you have a lot less maintenance. And then the conditional formatting that comes with Excel is also very helpful to us. I wanted to show you one more thing, and that is submitting data, budgeting, or forecasting. So we do have workflow capability. It is not required to submit data, but it does help us to give us another level of control over the data and also more visibility. So you can see I have all of these assignments to do. I really have my work cut out for me. I'm going to go ahead and open up my New York assignment. And what we'll see is that this is color-coded. So I'm going to collapse some of these columns so we can see the whole thing. Yellow cells, and you can choose the colors. Yellow cells for us are input. Fringe and payroll is going to be calculated for us. Even though this is input, we have feeded in an Excel formula. So we're basically saying this is a guideline, whereas fringe and payroll taxes, we're using a particular rate against a particular account. So we're building that into de facto. And then over here on the comments, we have the ability to send text into the database as well. So I'm just going to submit some data. I'm just copying this formula. So you can bring in formulas. You can bring in links to get the data in, however you want to do it. Very easy, very flexible. And I just click on Send Data to submit that. And you can see the send status turns yellow, which means it's immediately being processed. So with the comments, I did just want to point out that this isn't only helpful with budgeting and forecasting, but variance reporting as well. So my variance reporting, instead of having to email people the reasons for the variances or get in touch, have a call, I can put it into de facto. Then whoever pulls up that report, whoever has access to that data, is also going to see those comments, those variance explanations. So as far as submitting data goes, what's happening behind the scenes is the back end is SQL Server and analysis services. Everything's being recalculated. So fringe and payroll taxes, because I resubmitted data, is being recalculated for me, and everything's being aggregated. My refresh button, again, is an indicator to let me know that the process is complete. And as I'm refreshing, you can see my fringe and payroll taxes have been calculated in de facto. You can see in the formula bar. Great, thank you. You can see in the formula bar that this is not a formula, it is data being calculated. So just to bring this full circle, what I'd like you to take a look at is my total department expense of $21 million for New York. I'm going to go back to that report I created and refresh this, because we're looking at our budget for New York, and now we see those personnel expenses that I brought in for the first 6 months of the year, and my expense of $21 million. So I hope you enjoyed the presentation, and that's it for me.
All right, thanks so much, Megan. And next in our list of presenters is Trey Johnson from Zap Technologies. Trey, are you there? Oh, let me unmute Trey.
Now I'm here. Thank you very much, Jason.
All right, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, sir. So good morning, good afternoon, or good evening to the folks that are joining us globally, and thanks again to msdynamicsworld.com for allowing us to participate in this shootout. My name is Trey Johnson. I'm with Zap Technology, and I wanted to take the opportunity to just walk you through a little bit about who we are, show you a bit about our product. I know many of you have been on this BI Shootout series since the beginning, and so you've probably seen a number of things about the various presenters. But just to recap, Zap is a global organization. We actually have a presence in 7 different locations globally, and at the moment we're well over 100,000 users across approximately 40 countries. Our business is one that is absolutely rooted in business intelligence. We got our start just a little bit over 13 years ago, focused very much on the combination of the Microsoft platform of technologies and the ability to bring BI quickly to a wide variety of Dynamics users. With that focus, we have brought solutions to market for the Dynamics AX community, the NAV community, and the Dynamics CRM community. And realistically, at the end of the day, ZAP's entire focus and motivation is to deliver real business intelligence outcomes. So as you look across the various demonstrations and presentations today, there'll be a variety of different ways that the information is presented, all of which should be aesthetically pleasing, I'm sure. But the reality is we really have taken the learnings that we've gathered from a number of customers, and that probably speaks to this next slide. At the point where we crossed over that 500 customer boundary, we actually did a survey, and one of the things that or some of the things that these customers were very much looking for was a complete end-to-end product. And by that I mean a business intelligence and analytics solution that not only addresses the visualization of the information, but also supports the capture of the information from a primary data source such as Dynamics AX, also from ancillary data sources that you might have that contribute to that holistic view of your business. In addition, what we have found through the interactions with customers in a variety of different sales cycles, including some competitive ones, that there's a real desire to have that local support base. And so I know we have folks really from every continent, and we literally have that local employee base with dozens of localized folks that are there to support our partner community as well as our direct customer community. We couldn't really be the organization that we've become today without a high level of Microsoft endorsement. We work very closely with Microsoft on features around our product. We also work very closely with them in the ecosystem, and as a result, we have really achieved the benefit of having a number of their most significant and precious Dynamics AX customers in our portfolio of mid-market and enterprise organizations. A big part of the success model that I think you as a customer or you as a partner should evaluate an organization by for your BI solution is certainly the way they've integrated into the ecosystem. We have natural relationships with the AX and user group community. We have significant relationships with a number of the top Dynamics AX and other Dynamics partners, and certainly, as we mentioned, that high degree of integration into the Microsoft Dynamics organization, as well as the ISVs that support that organization as well. And so as a result, the net for us and things that our customers continue to look at are the large list of reference customers, those organizations that we can call up quite readily and help you understand exactly what the value was of ZAP as a total end-to-end solution for their business. And so as a result, I'll just talk real quickly about our solution, and then we'll move quickly over to a demonstration. Many of you are invested not only in the Dynamics technologies, but you also have other SQL sources. So as a result, we have a part of our solution as a technology called Cube Express. Cube Express, which I'll hope to show you just briefly today, actually interacts with the multiple data sources that you do have, drives the requirement for extraction of data from AX, extraction from other sources, while supporting the maintenance of the data quality as you're doing those extractions, supporting the opportunity to normalize data, to make information more relevant across multiple data sources. That is really a key part of our technical offering and a technology that generates that underlying analytical platform quite quickly. In addition, we also have our data presentation technology, which is ZAP Business Intelligence, that delivers a variety of different visual mechanisms for the end users. That ZAP BI technology can be delivered on its own, via a web browser or integrated into the Microsoft SharePoint platform. We have integrations with the Yammer platform for a variety of different collaboration scenarios, and we can also directly integrate into the Microsoft Dynamics user interfaces as well. And probably most essential when we talk about the outcome side of this is we're literally delivering hundreds, if not thousands, of pieces of analytical content out of the box, being made available to users where they need it most, whether it be in the Dynamics user interface, delivered via SharePoint, available in a browser, or in a moment, as I'll show you, on mobile devices as well. So with that, I'm going to shift gears here just a little bit, see if we can't bring up a couple of demonstration environments, one of which we'll start with here is basically a emulation of a mobile environment. And so what we're looking at is we're looking at ZAP Business Intelligence being delivered via a mobile user interface. And what we have done is we actually have the ability to deliver in different ways for mobile devices versus delivering for standard browser-based environments. And so as a result, you'll notice that we have a number of different prepackaged analytics that are being delivered here within the public folder. I also have a personal folder and favorites, all of which are engineered for the touch, either on a phone form factor or a tablet form factor. In this case, I'll go ahead and click on the retail, and so we have a variety of different areas that we can go. I'll actually go ahead and navigate into performance and maybe basket analysis to take a quick look. And maybe we'll click just simply on the average basket size. And so what you'll notice is we're actually engineering and delivering this in a way that is very suitable for the end user consumption. And so there's an ability to drill up and down, which I'll go into in a bit more. We also could add this directly to the favorites, all via touch. But I'll go ahead and navigate maybe back out of this, and we'll go back into maybe something along the lines of retail sales. And so we have a variety of different analytics. The icons that you see here represent the different analytics that are being delivered. We've gotten a lot of extremely positive feedback on this mobile-based delivery because in reality, you certainly have some stakeholders that are sitting at desktops or laptops, but you also have others that are field-based or frankly are at a C-level and are going from a meeting to meeting, and they're more interested in what they can consume on the tablet. And so if I go into something like this sales trend, from our retail analytics here, we'll notice there's a variety of different kind of cycles for the dollars that have come through. If I want to understand this particular cycle for this week better, I can actually select that week and choose to drill down on it. And that takes me down essentially into the days. And again, as I hover over these different data points, you'll notice that we're getting a summary value that's being presented to us. If I wanted to keep this, I could save this to my favorites, or I could simply just choose to navigate backwards out of this by clicking on this particular arrow. And so that'll also bring me back to this folder where maybe I want to look at maybe staff or the staff performance analysis. And this really starts to bring forward some of the additional capability that one would expect from an analytical solution. So you'll notice, that we have a variety of different columns that are presented here. All of this data is being presented off of the SQL Server Analysis Services Cube. And so what I have the opportunity to do is literally touch on the plus sign, and that's going to expand the underlying hierarchies, and I can actually look at, register or departmental performance depending on, kind of the retail type scenario that we're looking at. And so lastly, if I kind of navigate backwards out of this, we'll go explore, maybe a slightly different area. So that is our foundation analytics. And as I click on the foundation analytics, you'll notice that we have foundational analytical content for a variety of different areas. That analytical content is not only taking on the form of charts, but it's also analytical reports, dashboards, scorecards, and KPIs. And we also have the support for, the financial statements, some of the other more specific reporting that some of our more publicly traded organizations are using to report their financials out to market. But in this case, what I might do is go into accounts receivable, because that always seems to be a popular topic, and we'll go into the customer dashboard, and maybe we'll go into this particular customer dashboard here. And so this is just a representation of the ability to kind of drive this in a variety of different ways, including having a composition of multiple different analytical items, even delivered on a smaller form factor such as a tablet. And so we'll kind of back out of this for the moment, maybe look at the AR by customer type. That brings forward an additional visualization that you might choose to explore. And so, for example, if I wanted to better understand the AR by this particular company, because we can actually bring multiple companies out of AX, I'll drill down here and do so. We could continue to navigate downward as I'm showing here. So there's a lot of things that I can do, but one of the things that I feel like I absolutely must do is very quickly, very quickly, switch over here and briefly just show you our Cube Express product. And so Cube Express product is our wizard-based technology that connects to Dynamics AX or other data sources and allows for you as an organization to completely take ownership. We're not talking about dozens of hours of learning for you to become effective with this tool set, but rather this wizard-based technology connects to your data sources, allows for you to automatically generate that underlying SQL Server analysis services solution, including any customizations that you or your partner have done and any of the elements that have been added to the Dynamics AX solution by the ISV investments that you've made. And so as a result, we very much have an end-to-end solution starting with the Cube Express product, going through the visualizations that are delivered to your browser, to SharePoint, into the Dynamics application, or on the mobile device as I showed, and that all comes along with a variety of prepackaged analytics to get you started and on the right foot. So with that, I thank you very much for your attention, and I do hope that you'll pay attention to the other folks that are presenting now.
All right, thanks so much, Trey. Next for our presenters is Brandon Kirby from Halo BI. And Brandon, I'm going to give you control now. Brandon, are you there?
I am here, and great, and thank you. We're going to go ahead and share out the screen. Well, fantastic. Well, thank you all for joining again for today's presentation. What we want to do is share a little bit about Halo Business Intelligence and how we differ versus some of the other competitions on the line today. Many organizations that have invested in the Halo technology stack, they have tons of data. They've made significant investments in transactional-based systems and have a lot of wonderful data that they can take advantage of if they can make better sense of it, if they could bring it all together, cleanse it, and be able to visualize it in a meaningful manner. So that's one of the main reasons that they've actually invested in the Halo technology set. And we're going to talk a little bit about how we do that as well. We have over 400 customers. We are headquartered here in San Diego, California. We do have a global presence with offices in New Zealand and Asia Pac. There along the left-hand side, you can see some very familiar names, folks like Taylor Farms or GE, iMation, Tempur-Pedic, or a few Dynamics organizations. There's other companies there that are GP users like Associated Electric Co-op. They're a wonderful utility organization, or Cellular Sales. It's one of the largest Verizon outlets. Again, many of these organizations have all struggled from having several disparate systems that are not all SQL, that they do need to be able to pull that data together, cleanse the data, and be able to visualize it. But again, these are some of the more larger brand name type companies. The Halo tool set actually works for many organizations of varies of size. All these organizations are trying to leverage their investment in the Microsoft technology. One example is a $50 million manufacturer, very thin when it comes to IT bandwidth and resources. They actually have 8 companies that roll up into the corporation. They too struggle with the same challenges that the bigger guys do. They have Dynamics AX 2009, they have RockySoft for inventory. A lot of information was locked away in a DB2 system. And they had went with another BI vendor that had kind of promised thousands of analytics that would magically work out of the box. That product actually never really got launched successfully. It didn't see the user adoption. It really didn't give people what they needed, which was insight into all these other disparate systems. With Halo BI, what we ended up doing was leveraging some of our quick start templates for sales, finance, and inventory. We gave them the ability to themselves actually grab this data, blend it together, be able to cleanse the data. The implementation was about a 4-week period, and wildly successful. They're very happy and willing to act as a reference for anyone that would like to reach out and talk about their experiences. Then we have the other end of the spectrum, a $2 billion company, very mature BI audience here. They had spent about $700,000 on a Hyperion S-based solution over 4 years and really considered it to be a failure. They too were looking to leverage some pre-built content packs designed for Dynamics, but also give them ability and the ability to pull data out of all their other corporate assets. With their team, they were actually able to get up and running in 3 weeks and grew the internal usage tenfold over that of the additional competition. Again, would love to be a reference for anyone that would like to reach out and learn about their implementation and their experience. A little bit about how Halo BI is architected and what the data flow process looks like. We are a holistic solution. So not only do we give you the ability to take advantage of pre-built content packs for Dynamics and CRM, but we've also learned that many organizations have other CRM systems, like Salesforce.com or other ERPs and other divisions like JD Edwards, Oracle, or SAP. So this is a utility that you can take advantage of pre-built content packs for those other line of business systems, but also take data out of web services or cloud-based, things like ADP for payroll, being able to leverage non-SQL sources. The next thing that you're going to find is the challenge of, now that you've had the ability to do all this wonderful data mashup, is dirty data. And dirty data makes for bad BI, right? So what we do is we give you a tool that will help you cleanse the data, profile it, and monitor it going forward. This solution will also give you the ability to take advantage of pre-built content packs designed for sales, finance, inventory, and also vertical-specific applications for retail, manufacturing, distribution. We have several other specific verticals that we focused on. Now, at the end of the day, what you can generate is a cube. You can create a modular cube that would be for sales or inventory or financials, or based on the business case, you could actually create a hypercube. That's kind of where you kind of have a mishmash of all your different transactional data into one cube, kind of following a quote-to-cash process. And then from an end-user perspective, you'll be able to visualize this. Well, you can visualize it directly within your ERP system, within role centers or business portal. You can pick it up on a web browser, any mobile device, and it's got some wonderful things that are built into the utility that will actually give your users that are outside your firewall, partners, suppliers, customers, access to this information in a very secure manner. For the techies that are on the call today, let's look a little bit at the architecture that we're leveraging here. On the bottom left-hand side, Microsoft's typical answer is that, yes, you too can use SQL Server analysis services, grab data out of all these disparate systems, and you'll probably need 3 to 6 months to build a data warehouse and typically 15 different skill sets. That's an MDX person, someone to build the SSIS packages, an OLAP, a SharePoint developer. Well, what we're going to do is we're going to come in with Halo Prism and our solution to help automate a lot of this process. This is one user interface and a 3-day workshop that someone needs to take in order to be able to build a data warehouse and build out the environment as a whole. So what this is going to end up doing is it's going to provide the wizard to extract all the disparate systems that you have, cleanse the data, and then be able to generate an analysis services cube. The benefit is that you're up and running in a much shorter amount of time, and we've leveraged a lot of the best Microsoft practices, and we've built that intelligence directly into the tool. Now, let's talk about where we stand from a differentiator standpoint. We came up with something that we call the Halo Business Intelligence Maturity Model. And there along the left-hand side of the matrix is essentially the value that you would get out of a BI solution and how you can really take advantage of all your transactional-based system. So first is if you're only taking information out of a structured system like Dynamics AX, blending that together with other data sources, being able to solve data quality issues, taking advantage of real-time and big data needs, and then being able to cater to several different application-specific needs. We believe that you do need to have historical transactional reporting is very key. Reporting, enabling the end users to do slicing and dicing of the data, monitor the data going forward, but also being able to be much more forward-looking. being able to build models for regression or predictive type of analytics, and then be able to share it throughout the enterprise, not on a one-by-one basis or just on a departmental basis, but being able to share it throughout your entire supply chain, allowing your suppliers the ability to log in and check stock levels and be able to see their supplier scorecard type metrics, and providing the transparency all the way to your customers so they can see key information that they want to see in a real-time and a secure basis. This matrix proves to be a nice building block to be able to grow your BI solution, really enabling you to crawl, walk, run, and ultimately fly. Now, if you were to start to check the boxes here, just doing dynamics reporting, maybe doing some basic type of analysis, you could start to quantify your maturity score here. You rank about a 14. And the Halo solution does provide structured reporting. It does give you the ability to do emails and alerts, so that's that 8 a.m. Monday morning flash report. Something that you should pay note to is Excel integration with write-back capabilities. That's what's going to enable you to do your budgeting, planning, and forecasting, and writing that information back to the cube. The front end is all HTML5 and AJAX. You can also do geocode analysis. You can drop this into SharePoint or be able to embed it within role centers or business portal. You can also take advantage of data cleansing solutions. So this is actually quite nice. What we're looking at here, and you should pay special note, is the first thing our system is going to do when you connect it to these different disparate systems is it's going to grade the data. And what this is grading here is address quality. A, B, C, D quality, B with multiple spellings. I have 6 different variations of Albuquerque, New Mexico that it's actually come up with. And this is a customer's actual data that we're using here. And really what this is pointing out is that 83% of your data that you're reporting on is accurate and correct. So you have to kind of ask yourself, are you really taking into account for all of your information? So our system is going to help you be able to clean that information up and provide monitoring with real-time data access, take advantage of not only your data and corporate assets, whether it be SQL or Oracle, Progress, Gupta, much more of kind of the traditional relational databases, but also blend the information with key CMO information. The chief marketing officer has typically kind of been on their own for reporting and analytics when it comes to, tapping into Google or web type information. Other data assets that you can see here along here, if you're a retail-based company, it would probably be very important to grab census or Nielsen type information and be able to overlay that demographic information onto your actual figures. Other things that we should highlight is our integration with third-party systems. This is an example of Dynamics AX. And remember, this gives your users single point of entry, so that when they log into the system, they have their nice role center dashboard that you're looking at here that is really the Halo UI. But the data that I'm serving up here can come out of any system. So if you're a brand new AX 2012 shop, let's say, all that legacy data that you had can now be made available in AX without having to migrate that over in your initial implementation. Customer portal or supplier portals. This gives your users the ability to open up this information to your suppliers so they can access key supplier scorecard information plus link back to other key procurement type systems that suppliers typically still need information out of. And be able to offer all your customers access to their information in a very secure manner without having to build everyone out in Active Directory. We have some tools that help automate the security of it and make it a lot easier for your IT department to be able to manage going forward.
1 minute, Brandon.
Thank you. Built-in collaboration. So this is kind of an example of our screenshot here of our dashboards in UI. What we have here is an embedded message thread of all the users that are collaborating about the numbers, and it's memorialized here. So 3 months, 6 months from now, if I wanted to revisit who was involved in a decision, the decision that was made, all that information is stored in context with the information. Now, a lot of vendors today that you're speaking with should be able to do trend analysis, your historical trend, or essentially give you the blue line that you're looking at on the screen here. The Halo solution will actually allow you to build models which would allow you to do market basket analysis, cross sales, or linear regression as well. Now, why Halo BI? We are a holistic suite. We offer the ability to build a true enterprise global data warehouse, data monitor cube, being able to provide data quality integration, also integrating very tightly with key dynamic systems like the application object tree layer, for security to be able to take advantage of that. Pre-built solutions designed for all flavors of Dynamics, so even though a lot of focus today is on AX, it seems like, we do support GP, NAV, and SL, as well as CRM. Drag and drop UI.
And we are at time.
All right. Well, we appreciate the opportunity and look forward to working with you and your team.
Okay, thanks so much. And I am now going to pass over control to our final presenter today. Please allow me to welcome Ulrich Peterson from Target, who I am giving control to right now. Ulrich, are you there?
Thank you very much, Jason. I'm here. And hopefully my screen is displaying as well.
Yes, now see your screen.
Very good. And let me just power up the presentation here as well. Thank you, Jason. Let's take a look at the Target. I'll go through a few slides first. Focus on Target's position in the BI and analytics space. Take you through the Target journey from packaged analysis and reports to really becoming a data-driven company competing on analytics. And then we'll look at the differentiators in the product itself. The three things I want to point out here on Target's position in the market is that we offer one integrated self-service BI analytics platform. We offer unsurpassed user-friendliness, and then we can also offer the users self-service data discovery and integration. And it's something you really have to see to understand the differentiation here. If we take a look at the one integrated self-service BI analytics platform, in Target, you have one place to go for all of your reports, analysis, dashboards, even what-if scenarios, alerts and notification, mobile access. The second you save an analysis, a report, or a dashboard, it's distributed across all of your platforms, across all of your users. So you don't have to jump into different tool sets in order to get a report or an analysis or a dashboard. It's all one integrated solution. With unsurpassed user friendliness, we're actually at the point where you can simply ask the system what you want. Maybe I'd like to analyze my profit by salesperson. And Target will automatically generate a meaningful analysis or report or dashboard, depending on how you'd like this data represented. We just recently got the patent on this backbone technology that offers this ease of use to the users. I'll show some other things where you with just one click can add new objects to your analysis report in order to get more insight into the reason behind a KPI might be falling off track. Finally, something new we have launched as well is the ability to not only work off a structured data warehouse, but also do data integration simply by drag and drop of Excel spreadsheets, data sets like text and CSV files. Target will automatically interpret the data and figure out what can be analyzed as measures and dimensions. How can I spin these data around? Do I have any natural hierarchies? What should be summarized? Even does count averages, minimum and maximums. In addition to that, to completely eliminate the need of including or having to go to your IT department in order to integrate those data, we can share this using Dropbox and Google Drive integration so that you can share your own data sets across the organization with other users that you might be interacting on with on a specific project. The Target journey, what we see with the users that are really adopting the Target technology is that a typical first step is that you have few data sources, maybe a limited amount of data, and you need some analysis and reports out of the box. I would say today that's becoming somewhat of a commodity. There's a number of different tools that can give you some standard analysis and reports out of the box. As you start working with BI analytics that demand and need for adding multiple data sources and even huge, enormous amounts of data increases over time, and with that you also see the users wanting to be able to not only work with predefined analysis and reports, but on the fly build new analysis, build small modifications of reports already there, or simply start from scratch, just having an idea about what's going on. But I need to really ask, is it because I am falling off in a specific region? Is it my sales reps that's falling behind? Is it a specific product that's no longer really performing as I assumed it would be? That's where we see the ability of the flexible target user interface really come into play. And now the latest trend that we have spotted and we're also catering to is the ability to now take your disperse or different data sets that might sit in an Excel spreadsheet or competitor data you've downloaded from the internet, maybe US Census Bureau data that you need to analyze in conjunction with your data, and simply drag and drop those data into Target so that you get more information about the decision you're about to make. As you see this need increase over time, BI analytics also becomes much more strategic in the company, and you'll start having this really data-driven culture and start to compete on analytics and not just work with predefined analysis and reports. With that, I'll jump straight into demoing these different capabilities in Target. The backbone is similar for, you can say, the foundation to the other solutions on the line here, that we have a data warehouse in place where you would go to for the majority of the information. But then we also supplement that with the in-memory database that allows you to drag and drop information in. Plus, we can go real-time straight to the data source. We can also connect to other data sources, such as Oracle or any relational database. Let's jump into the product itself. And when you buy one Target client, you get not only a Windows client, you get also a web client, browser agnostic. You get a mobile device access, both Android and iPhone, iPad access. For the purpose of demoing here, I'll just work with one of these accesses. Let's start with a Windows client here. And when I jump in this case, I'm just getting a somewhat boring static report that shows me the agings report here. It, in a real life environment, probably wouldn't be my startup screen, but just to show you that traditional reporting is, of course, covered with Target as well. One of the first differentiators here is that I can now start to already off this static report ask questions. Maybe I'd like a few more pieces of information about this current balance of 168,000 on the Canon group. If I just click on it, Target will automatically generate a new analysis that gives me more insight into that particular figure. So here I got a few pieces of additional information. I can see that this account is being managed by Peter Sato. He was the one that sold or has multiple sales to the account. So I can go to him if there's any concerns. Now, if I go back, I can see that I don't really have a large outstanding balance, so no concerns here. What becomes more interesting with Target is this nice portal field that allows your entry-level users, so to speak, to easily navigate the product and get the information they need. So I might jump over in sales and work with a sales team performance analysis that is much more dynamic. So if I wanted more information here and maybe drill down to just a specific period, the last 3 years, I could apply that as a filter up here. Now I'm just looking at the last 3 years. If I would want to focus on Linda Martin, that has delivered almost a third of my revenue over the past 3 years, I just need to click, and then you'll see all other objects as illustrated in this metadata here is now drilled down to displaying only the information for Linda Martin. I could look at another sales rep here. In this case, I can see John Roberts is doing quite well. His profit margin is much higher than what I saw for Linda Martin. So Linda Martin might be selling a lot. Looks like she's actually falling a little bit behind the last 3 months. And here is the next step in your Target journey with BI Analytics. You need to know more about what's going on here. Instead of just going and start searching for another packaged or prepared analysis that might give me that answer, I can now start working directly in my object. I might want to go in here and then say not only what I've sold, but also my profit margin is relevant. So I can then start to search in the object and say I'd like to also see the profit percentage, add it to my analysis. So let's go ahead and oops, I have to hit it on the object here. Let's go ahead and add it also profit percentage to my analysis. And looks like there might be a conflict with the GoToMeeting here. Another way I can go is to go straight to my more developer tools over here and then drag and drop any measure or dimension that I'd like to enhance my output with. Everything in Target is searchable. So if I have a large amount of analysis or reports or dimension measures, I can go in and then search it right off my SmartPad over here. Fetch that data as well. And now I can see which of the products here that might cause most of a concern as far as my profit margin goes. Well, she's lagging behind here. I might need to know, do I have outstanding orders with this particular customer? So is it just temporarily I have more coming in? Now, that might be added as a new object, and then I could say I'd like to see that as a new cross tab. And then I can again start searching either in object or straight from my source data over here. So let's go ahead and look at my open orders. And then I'd like to see my order profit percentage. And let's go ahead and also look at my order amount. Maybe I'd want to also take some of my details from my customer. So we'll take some bill to customer details, fetch the data again. I can see here now that I only have 39,000 in outstanding orders, so quite a bit below what I could expect if if I'd get to my 150K mark here. Now, working with data I have not even touched before is as easy as if I just drop out of Target, look at some posted sales invoices here that I need to analyze. I can see this is just an export from my ERP system. Let's take this data set, drag and drop it into Target, open back up in my Target client, go to my source data, and now you'll see over here I now have my posted sales invoices imported into Target. I can start analyzing it. Simply go to my my data set here, and then I might want to analyze, in this case, the summarized amount sum. So let's just add that as an object. I might also want to see who's the bill to name, add that as an object. So notice here how I can just right-click, add it, and then I'm off to the races. And finally, let's also take the salesperson code, add as an object. And now I have complete ability to analyze just this new data set.
We are at time, Ulrich.
With that, I will hand it back to you, Jason.
Thank you so much. And that does conclude the presentations by our different presenters, and thank you all so much for that. We are going to open up all the presenters' lines now, and I do invite anyone on the line to ask a question. It'll be a little easier now that we're back in the panel view. Let me bring up all our presenters' contact information here. I know any of them would be happy to hear from you and to answer any questions you have individually, but I would also invite you to ask your questions now in the Q&A block that you see on the lower right portion of the screen. We will give preference to questions where we can give multiple presenters a shot at answering. So please go ahead and enter your questions in there now. Maybe to get things started, I have a couple questions for the presenters. Let me actually open up all the lines here so you are all off of mute here. So what's looking to the year ahead, what's an exciting technological advance that you are looking forward to seeing go into use in maybe in the next year? So I'd like to throw that open to everyone, and maybe we'll go through in the order that we presented. So Megan, any thoughts on an interesting technological advance that you're looking forward to?
One of the things that I'm very excited about, we actually have the beta version available, is an investigator tool which allows us to just take any number and basically drill down into it without having to write a separate report or anything like that. We do have a lot of other enhancements coming along, some of them with the way that the ribbon interacts with de facto and things like that, but that's definitely the one I'm the most excited about.
All right, great. Trey.
Sure. You know, I think there's there's several, if everybody was under the same NDA that we had with Microsoft, that I would love to share. But, you know, I think in terms of, you know, the practical side of things, you know, the volume of enterprise customers and large mid-market customers that we've added are really driving a significant number of very proper enhancements, additional capabilities that I think the organizations that are on the line here will certainly find very vital to the go forward. So I don't know that I have one specific thing, but you know, certainly our continued support of the Dynamics AX platform as it continues to evolve, the deepness that we have with some of our ISV relationships are all exciting things for us.
All right, great. And Brandon.
Yeah, I would definitely say two. One, it's not only looking historically that all BI vendors have always done, but also being able to build models and algorithms based on this data for predictive analytics. You know, it's important to know how you finish Q3, but it's even more important to know how you might finish Q4, right? And then the second thing is opening up this data to more users outside your firewalls. We have organizations that want to open up supplier scorecard analysis to 15,000 users. We've overcome the security challenge of trying to throw everyone in Active Directory, so we have a piece of IP that automates the security piece for it. It's been very, very successful, so we're excited about that.
Great, and Ulrich.
And I think from our side, from a technological advance in the coming year, I think the price of hardware, SSD drives, and memory, as the capability is expanding and the price is dropping, it really enables us to take not only your internal data coming from AX or other systems, but also crunch billions of data outside of your organization, coming from Google or Twitter or Facebook or LinkedIn. So you know not only what is going on with your product when you look at your sales, but what is people really saying about it, what is the trend, what are the competitors' trend. That's something that we've already started to dive into, and I think that technology now supports that we can take a full-fledged attack on those data sources, so to speak.
All right, thank you. And just to everyone on the line, there was a question about where previous on-demand webcasts are located. I just want to note I did post a link to that in the chat area that everyone should see there. That'll take you to the rest of the BI and reporting series. We are also recording today's session, so this one will go up on demand soon, and we'll let you know when that's up. There was a question about further demos of BI solutions. I'll just note if there are specific questions about specific products, we can try to ask those at the end. We are going to give some preference to questions that come in that are kind of open to multiple presenters here. But when it comes to seeing demos of your products, maybe I'll just go back around and ask each presenter what sort of the best way is for people who want to see sort of a more in-depth demo of your solution. Why don't we just start again with Megan here. So Megan, what would you say?
You can get in touch with Bob Bedard, whose email address is showing, bbedard@defacto global, and we'll set up a demo. It takes about an hour and a half.
All right, and Trey?
Sure. You know, we have a couple different ways for people to get more deep insight. Certainly, the website that's listed here. We've also recently released a new website called zapbi.com that has a number of resources, including videos that folks can watch. But certainly, do email us if you'd like to have a deeper conversation about the way that we bring together the enterprise data sources, including things like Dynamics AX, NAV, and CRM, into a consolidated view for folks.
Great. And Brandon?
And sure, you could go to our website for videos as well. We really encourage you to do proof of concepts where we actually use your data for a demonstration. You know, there's a lot of pretty pictures and everyone's system kind of demos very well, but it's not until you use your own data so that you can actually see how it's going to interact in your environment. So we highly encourage you to do a proof of concept or a pilot.
All right, great. And Ulrich?
We have a number of options as well. We have a 30-minute recorded demo for Dynamics on our website. We're also so confident that you can download a full-blown demo and connect it to your Dynamics, or simply use our in-memory database to analyze data sets on your desktop. If you're not an administrator and you might not have the rights to set up and access to Dynamics. Finally, I'd also encourage you to follow us on Twitter @Target. And several of us are using Twitter as well. You can actually get previews of new versions there. You can also vote for the behavior and appearance of new versions. So very active there, and you can get a lot of information, and also actually the first to know about new developments will be found on Twitter.
All right, excellent. There's a question, kind of a general question about predictive analytics, and asking for each presenter's views on that kind of that topic and capability. So really, I guess the question is, you know, what would you say about your use of predictive analytics, or the importance of it? Why don't we change up the order a little bit here? We'll sort of shuffle forward and let Trey answer first from Zap. Trey, what can you say about the importance these days of predictive analytics?
Yeah, you know, I think it's important to always, you know, strike a balance. You know, I think a lot of organizations are still very much strongly rooted in, you know, needing to look back, needing to have this historical views. You know, they wouldn't be going through the pain of importing large amounts of data into their new ERP deployments if they didn't want to have some type of historical view. But with that said, there certainly is a value in understanding how past patterns predict, you know, future behavior, and so that's one of the things that we strongly latch onto as part of the SQL Server Analysis Services platform.
All right, and Brandon?
Yeah, and you know, after your initial implementation, which is very tactical, just trying to get better visibility into certain modules or sales or finance, or inventory, et cetera, then you start trying to be more strategic and see what and how you can benefit with this data. We've released 4 models: trend analysis, forecasting, market basket, cross sales, customer segmentation. We're going to add an additional 6 throughout the year. And we're going to also leverage, you know, other technology sets like R or SAS or SPSS if organizations have already invested in those technologies, and allow you to tightly integrate with it.
Okay, Ulrich.
And we have a number of predictive analytics as well. We have one-click regression that shows you both linear and polynomial regressions. We have an app from our Target App Store that allows you to integrate to R for more advanced analytics and predictions. And then we have a patented feature that looks for correlations in your data and can predict when something is about to happen based on your historical data. An obvious one would be customer complaints might in 3 months affect your sales. If that's how it's happened in the past, then this Sentinel, as it's called, will alert you that this is about to happen in the future. So you might want to take care of your customers right away. We call that early warnings in the newest version of Target.
Okay, and Megan.
De facto is very flexible, and we can integrate with any type of data system, but that said, we can also put in whatever drivers we need to predict future outcomes. And we all know it's a very cyclical process to look back and forward and make sure that the cycle is being analyzed the right way. So if the more we know about your data and the drivers, the more we can build into de facto to predict the future outcomes.
Okay. We are over time now. I do have a couple of specific questions that maybe I would throw in here quickly at the end. So one was on de facto for you, Megan. You know, during your demo, someone asked that you submitted data, but where was that data stored after it was submitted? And I'm sorry, can you send data such as budgets back to Dynamics?
So yes, for the first part of the question, it goes back to the SQL. So when you create an application, a SQL Server database is automatically created. From a business perspective, we as the people building the application don't have to touch SQL Server. All of this is happening in the background automatically. So it goes to the SQL Server database, and then it gets deployed out to analysis services. And yes, we can send the data back to Dynamics as well. And that can be an automated process that happens as frequently as you need it to, or you could have it something that you want to run on demand.
Okay. A question here for Brandon. Can you speak to data quality in, I'm sorry, let me just make sure I have the full question here. Can you speak to, I just lost the question, where did that go? I'm sorry, so the question is, can you speak to BI maturity and how you measure that as it relates to Halo BI?
Yeah, not in 30 seconds, but we actually have a maturity assessment that one of our consultants can help you with and actually send you. So just email me directly. I can make sure you get a copy of that.
All right, great. Well, we will wrap it up there. I want to thank everyone for their time today, to the presenters. I also want to thank everyone who's still on the line for your questions and for your attention today. We really appreciate it, and for supporting the whole series overall. Please do check out the on-demand sessions, and we'll send an alert when this one is available to be viewed. So thanks, panel.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks everyone on the line.
Yeah, that was fun.
Great.
Okay.
And we will wrap it up there. So thanks, and have a great day.